Welcome to DS Domini, the podcast of Epical Change's Sunday editorials curated by Simone Riva. Enjoy listening.
The question that the Jews put to Moses during the Exodus is perhaps more relevant than we might think. After their liberation from Egypt, the Jews had to contend with a subtler enemy: regret. Moses found himself leading a people who preferred to have everything secured for them under slavery rather than face the risks of freedom. And every hardship became a pretext for complaint. Why did you bring us up out of Egypt to make us and our children and our livestock die of thirst? Exodus 17:3. Moses even came to fear for his own life, watching the anger rise in the eyes of his friends, the same eyes that had been filled with joy as they crossed the Red Sea. The controversy reached its most radical point. Is the Lord among us or not? Exodus 17:7. In recent days, during the blessing of homes in preparation for Easter, something not entirely unlike this happened to me. An orderly, simple family with a husband who was curious about matters of faith. Over the years, he had attended several meetings with Bible scholars, read various texts, and explored many questions in depth. He did not want to let the occasion of a priest's visit pass without raising the inconsistencies that had long unsettled him. The gap between what he had been taught as a child and what the experts were now telling him, namely that Adam and Eve had never existed, that Moses was a legend, that the Annunciation to the Virgin was a literary device, that many of the stories were purely symbolic. Suddenly, with tears in his eyes, he says to me, "I have reached my age without having anything certain to hold on to." I look at him and ask, "But why do you need something to hold on to? Why don't you just accept things as they are?" And he, already ill, no longer young, replies, "Because I'm not happy that way." The Jews would probably have answered the same way had Moses asked them, "Why don't you go back to Pharaoh, to your old life, to those orderly and precise days when everyone had their tasks and instructions on how to build? When everything falls apart, when the theories of experts dissolve in the light of real life, when life demands real answers, each person is forced to reckon with what truly makes them happy and what merely breeds a corrosive skepticism about everything." What the then Cardinal Ratzinger said in one of his homilies at Pendling remains true. We no longer ask ourselves questions. We are so sure, so satisfied with ourselves that we do not give it any importance. At most, we turn the tables and set ourselves up as judges of God, condemning Him for this and that, and for having done everything or almost everything in such a botched way. In our time, a new migration from north and south, from east and west, is moving towards Him, starting precisely from ancient distances and contrasts. And it becomes clear that, precisely in His failure, God seems so powerless in this world, holds this story in His hands, and that it is precisely through the failures of men that He raises them up again and makes Himself present to them once more as hope and light. I think that we too should allow ourselves to be touched by this, so that we may seek Him again and go out to meet Him as the authentic answer to our questions. L'Osservatore Romano, December 19th, 2015. Even when we find ourselves facing the radical question of the Israelites, is the Lord among us or not? We can always begin again, from what leaves us unsatisfied, ready to see the one who is able to fill every moment with Himself.